Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, California. And this is a very special Friday Nerdrotic Nooner. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome, everybody in the chat. Now, a programming note, I'll get this over with right away. We are not doing Friday Night Tights tonight because I am going to a very special AA meeting where I'm getting a sobriety chip. Yay! All right, cool. So that's why I'm not doing it tonight. But it's being moved to Saturday evening. It'll be 5 p.m. Saturday. So Susan will be joining me then, and we will be going over the news of the week, and there's so much of it. Today, we're going to focus on Doctor Who, Star Trek, the Orville, and access journalism. I want to kind of respond to some of the salty tweets I have. Some have received, not much. Honestly, I don't really pay a lot of attention to people who are trying to argue with my videos. They could do that in the comments, and that's where I read it. And sometimes I'm like a couple days behind on the comments, so sorry about that. Welcome to everybody. Hello, Liam Cahill, Amy Johnson. Hi, Amy. Chris Persia, Brett Newman, Nathaniel Archer. Sorry if I'm messing up your name there. Broly, what's up? Matthew Matson, good to see you. Mage, Grey Wolf, OG Spock. Thank you. So yeah, I know that. Yeah, I'll get to that. Mark Lazurth, best Doctor Who, Patrick Troughton. Yes, welcome. And thanks for the follow on Twitter, my friend. The DJ D Show and his wrench, appreciate it. Mary Ashmead is here. I hope you're feeling better. I'll talk to you in a second. Tom Wolfinger, Foxabillo, Bryce 11544, Humanity Observer. Oh, I like that. I like that. The Filthy News is here. Dr. Meatball, Hector. What's up, Hector? And Chris Persia, thank you for the super chat. We already got a super chat. Man, 23,000. Let's make it 30 by Easter. That would be great. Again, I am very happy with where we're at. This is amazing. Everybody likes a little growth, don't they? I mean, we all like a little growth, just a little bit. So yes, progress, not perfection. That is kind of the motto here at the Nerdrotic channel. Thank you so much. Tamarocks, $20. Congrats on the subs. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been fun. Okay, I have to acknowledge a call out that myself and Bowles Trek am I saying that right? Is it Bowles Trek? If I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize. He is doing fine work about Doctor Who as well. And I greatly appreciate it. I've said before, I try not to watch other people. It's a kind of a fine line you got to walk. So I don't want to steal anybody's ideas like subconsciously. But it's something like I watch his videos like after a week, and they're very good. Dave Cullen shouted us out. That was huge. And I was going to Creature Features to do the filming yesterday, and apologies for missing the Orville and Short Treks. I'm going to be doing an Orville review. That's going to be after this nooner. And I saw that our views spiked. I'm all, whoa, what's up with that? And then Bulls Trek had tweeted at me that Dave Cullen shouted us out, like a proper shout out. So Dave, thank you. I am a fan of Dave's work. I've watched not all of his videos, but some. And honestly, he was on this a long time ago with the vandalization of Doctor Who, which to me is like one of those classic YouTube videos. So kind of right up there with the world-class bullshitters. Marvel Comics is literally begging you to buy their comics, which is kind of what made them take off. And of course, Star Wars afterwards, but that was where I found them first. Yeah, and EVS's Last Jedi Blu-ray review, which is hilarious. Yes, we made it to 23,000 in like insanely record time. So I am very happy about that. We do have some Doctor Who news today. The Access Journalism is running to the rescue. They're going to white knight Jodie Whittaker and Doctor Who, and well, thanks. That's all I got to say is thanks, because I can really do this all day and night. We can go back and forth. I have an article that basically says that the ratings being down is not as bad as you think. It's actually good. gobbledygook crap. So we'll read that, and we'll and it's from IO9, so that's pretty much as it is put, garbage tier. So garbage tier website. One that I used to read a long time ago and I don't know, I just don't anymore. Things have changed in the last few years, haven't they? Isn't Bird Box Bandersnatch Doctor Strange? Isn't Bird Box Bandersnatch Doctor Strange? I'm not sure. Filthy news. I didn't watch Bird Box, but I watched Bandersnatch, and we will talk about that. Because it actually was, I've been like formulating in my mind for about 2 years a bad Hollywood versus dads video. And I'm just going to kind of show some examples. And I found it really easy, but I was looking for an ending. I needed a solid ending. And I think Bandersnatch might have just handed it to me. So we'll see. Yes, Natasha, I got a trim. Yes, hail Dave Cullen for sure. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. He said he watched the videos, and I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. And I think other YouTubers can understand this. We make our stuff, but we really, even if you're like, I'm sure the huge ones feel this too. You're still wondering, like, is anybody going to watch this? Yes. Bullstruck is we gotta he and I have to talk. I even messaged him. I'm like, yeah, we gotta get together, do a little podcast or something. I think that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Nerdrotic for Who and EVS for Star Wars, says Liam. Yeah, hey, EVS is all over it. And you know how it started for him? It was just an impassioned video. It wasn't even what his channel was about at the time, but he was just pissed, and he used his platform. And that's how it works. That's really how it works. I was a fan of his art. I was always a fan. He's a comic artist. Some people probably still don't know that. But even though his title is Comic Artist Pro Secrets, but they I don't know if people look into it or not, but he is a brilliant comic artist, and he was one of my favorites. So that's why I started following him. I'm one of those nerds who likes to watch him draw. So go back and watch Gary's videos from a year ago. He was clean shaven. Oh boy, look at him now, and he's gaining some real attention. Coincidence? I don't know. So a year ago, I shaved to get my Tesla job. I was not really happy about that. I got to go and do another video in front of YouTube, because when we got 1,000 subscribers, I ran down to YouTube and did a video in front there. That was pretty fun. But I'm gonna let we'll let a couple more people roll in, and then we'll get to the Doctor Who article, and then we can talk about the Orville, which I have not done a review, and I'm gonna probably end up doing a video review. So if you guys want to talk about it in about 20 minutes or so, we can talk about it. The power of the beard. Yes, the beard got trimmed. Mrs. Nerdrotic snuck that one in on me though, so we were supposed to just do what's called a dust up. My wife owns a salon, so we did a dust up here, and then all of a sudden, like, she starts cutting my beard. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? But she did a good job. I was going on TV, so I had to clean up. I was looking a little Dan Haggerty. The Orville episode was great. I thought it was good. Yes, I did. Thought it was, and they took on something Star Trek will never take on. Never take on. It was so funny. You've arrived when Anti-Trekker puts your name in a video, and it was like, I think it was something like, me and Nerdrotic don't agree on something. He and I do not agree on the short trek. I thought the short trek was awful. I thought it was a poor attempt at comedy, especially when it's from a writer who's written for South Park and written for Rick and Morty. It was terrible. It was utterly terrible. 16% on Rotten Tomatoes for the New Year episode. Oh, for audience score. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of wait on an audience score video until it gets up to at least over 1,000. And you have my I promise that if the Rotten Tomatoes gets down to 20 for the season, I will make it a trilogy of dedicated Doctor Who Rotten Tomatoes reviews, and we can even read a couple live if you want. I mean, it's up to you guys, whatever you want to talk about. So I want to talk about the short trek. I want to talk about the Orville. Of course, we're going to start out with Doctor Who. Yes, I'm going to start time stamping. I'm sorry I have lagged on that. That it just takes time which has been kind of, well, not there. Just not there. Hey, we got two super chats. Cato Roan. Cato, you do not have to super chat. You do. I mean, I should practically be paying you. Cato Roan is a friend, a patron, and runs my Discord. I do have a Discord. I'm honestly rarely there. I pop in once in a while, but I should be there more. But please, Gary, accept my first ever super chat. Congrats for your channel and sobriety chip. You're a good man. Well, Cato, you're a good man, and thank you so much. I try. Again, progress, not perfection. New fan for the channel. Cheers. 10 Canadian dollars from Christian Delorme. Delorme? Cato and Christian, thank you so much for the super chats. They are greatly appreciated. And Tamarox and Chris Persia. And believe me, they're I'm grateful to get them, but they're not necessary. Just remember to hit @Nerdrotic channel if you want to get my attention. I will try to get to as much chat as possible. If I do not get to the chat, please feel free to copy and paste it, put it in the comments, and I'll try to respond there. Or at the very least, it will get read. Okay, because I read the comments. Again, I'm 2 days behind on comments, so some of them were really nice. I like to wake up and read them with Mrs. Nerdrotic. It's pretty funny. It's like, good morning. You're a sexist pig. Oh, thanks. Good morning to you. Who are you calling a sexist? Sid of the Id, congratulations on your Nerdrotic channel numbers. Jolly good show from us in England. Oh, jolly good show. Yes. Thank you. Cheers. Mrs. Nerdrotic used to thought it was pretty funny when I was rolling around England and I would get my coffee. I'd always go, cheers, dude. She thought it was funny. I was 7 in 1963. Best Doctor Who, Patrick Troughton. Oh man, you got to see it like all start at the perfect age. That was the age when Star Wars started for me. I started getting into Doctor Who casually when I was 10, 11, 12, when I was just sitting around in the afternoon watching PBS here in America, and they ran Tom Baker's The Fourth Doctor's Doctor Who over and over again. It was at first I thought it was annoying and weird and kind of scary when I was like super young, but when I got a little older, I started to dig it. Mary Ashmead, $5. Oh God, you don't have to do that either. So proud, and creature feature so cool. You look badass. Love the black. That's my favorite color. Yes, I'm very Johnny Cash in that way, and I wear it practically for the same reasons he did too. The world keeps spinning. A message to Chris Chibnall. That is great. If you guys could see this, it's you guys can see it in the chat. That's pretty funny. Good show. Thank you, Mary Ashmead. And Silhouetted Animator, $2. Have you watched Young Justice season 3 yet? I have not. That's why I have to delay. I'm going to do a live stream on it tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be doing a live stream on it. I wanted to kind of wait and watch it with Nerdrotic Jr. But hey, let's get to this article, okay? And then I'll get to more of you guys in the chat. And thank you for all the congratulations. Yeah, Gary, grats on your chip and grats on the creature feature. Thank you. Yes. So thank you, Filthy News. So I filmed a local TV show called Creature Features, and they are actually on YouTube. I will link them in the description, or if you go to my channel on the right-hand side, it says Friends of Nerdrotic. They're right there. I met, it's not a stage name, but I met Jeff, and totally cool people. I mean, great people. I was kind of worried they didn't know, they knew about the channel, but they didn't know like what I was really talking about. And he knew. So, it was awesome. I had a good time. They took me out to dinner, and like, wow, I was treated like this. It was a surreal experience. Sitting in a green room, and I've never been on TV before, and I was on the set, and it was a ton of fun. And it's going to air in like 3 or 4 weeks. It's going to be a while, but I'll let you guys know. They live stream it on YouTube, so everybody can see it. And I'll make sure you all, and I can, if they let me, I don't know if I'm allowed to mirror it on my channel, but if not, I will direct you all there. And yes, it is again available internationally. You are not going to get blocked anywhere, that as far as I know. Peter Davison, that is awesome and intimidating a little bit that Australia is listening. G'day. G'day, Aussies. You guys rock. Beards in computer programming languages. Men who have beards, their language sticks around. It's a weird fact. One guy in Japan read that and started growing one. Really? Bryce? My beard, no, it's okay. The reason I started growing, I couldn't grow a beard till I was like 30. All right. The reason I started growing a beard was before I owned a comic shop. I used to work in the automotive industry in the parts department. And when I started getting older, everybody started calling me kiddo. So I had people calling me kiddo who I was like 10 years older than. And I just started growing a beard. But the first time I grew one was during that election. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but during that election that was not decided back in 2000, that one. So me and my coworker just decided we wouldn't shave until we had a president. That was the first time I grew a beard, and I liked it after that. So, thank you, Andrew Fowl. I says, congratulations on the chip. Yeah, I'm stoked for that. I can't wait. I can't wait. I actually like going to AA meetings. I think it's that's my social hour. I don't get out much, but this is also my social hour. I like talking to you guys. Okay, I'm going to get back to the chat in a second. It's all coming up roses for Gary. You know, OG Spot Glove, that's a good thing and it's a bad thing. And I like to live in, I like to live with positive thoughts, but I'm also the kind of person who's waiting for lightning to strike. And but it's also, especially when you're a grateful recovering addict and you're in recovery, success can be just as dangerous as failing. A lot of people relapse when they're very successful, when they get very successful. Not saying I'm very successful. It's a lot of subscribers and it's great. But that's just something I have to be careful of. And believe me, my sponsor's reminding me constantly. Actually, he told me I have to go to 3 meetings a week now. So I got to listen. Okay. Doctor Who article. Here we go. And then I will get right back to you in chat. Again, thank you for all the well wishes. You guys are awesome. All right, here we go. IO9. Now, I just briefly ran over this. We're going to read this together. That's funny. They changed the headline. They changed the headline since that's weird. I wonder why they did that. So the original headline was basically it was "Don't panic. There's more to the ratings than meets the eye." But now that's weird. They've changed it to "There's more to the doom and gloom around Doctor Who New Year's Day ratings." When I'm finished reading the article, I will tell you why they changed that rate. I'm sure you guys figured it out why they changed it. Last night or a couple nights ago, Doctor Who returned for the sole outing of 2019 resolution in an all in all pretty cracking Dalek adventure. But you might instead have spent today reading about how it's a disaster for the BBC because overnight ratings are in and they look pretty rough. But there's more going on than certain headlines let on. Resolution scored just a 5.15 million overnight viewers for New Year's Day. Ratings released today via Doctor Who News, making it the fourth watched program of the day in the UK, behind the return of Luther and new episodes of soap operas Coronation Street and Emmerdale. The numbers, however, seem to look very bad for Doctor Who, say the Hollywood Reporter starts contrasting them with the final ratings of the past Doctor Who Christmas specials, painting a very morbid picture. No, it's called reality. Reality, IO9. Okay, I'll get to that later. A morbid picture that's no doubt already fueled a zillion algorithmic pleasing YouTube videos. Who could they be talking about? Hi. What's up, IO9? And others too. Believe me, I'm not the only one. Okay. There's many of us out there who are talking about it. keep up the fight, people. I'm with you. About how that gosh darned PC culture has ruined Doctor Who forever, or what have you. The thing is, okay, by the way, this is IO9. For those interested in getting a quick lesson on how the UK TV ratings actually work, the numbers released today don't actually tell the full picture of how many people have actually watched Doctor Who on the actually new year. They're actually confusing, actually too different. Can we say actually a few more fucking times? Damn it, I'm not supposed to cuss. Sorry. A little triggered. Ratings numbers released for UK TV. Overnights are an unofficial snapshot. Oh, really? So I'm going to stop right there. Okay, so when they're 10.54 million after you aggregated it 2 weeks later and then changed the number 3 times, that's accurate. But when this happens, it's not accurate. Okay, I'm just trying to see where you come from. Those of you who watched a live, they're basically talking about the consolidated numbers. Here they go. Then there's the consolidated final ratings, which are consolidated by whom? Well, it's actually consolidated by a number of companies. Some may be financed partially by the BBC, but I'm sure they're 100% honest. They combine that number with the amount of people who are in delayed viewing, recorded the program, blah, blah, blah. So they're talking about people watching it on their mobiles and DVRs and iTunes and whatever. As an example, here's the overnight figures from the top 10 shows of Christmas Day 2018 in the UK. The original tweet compared the same top 10 based. Man, they are doing some mental gymnastics here. Top 10 base finale consolidated ratings figures released today. The quote tweet courtesy of the BBC reporter Lizzo Mazimba. Sorry, Lizzo. Okay. Christmas Day. All right. What does this got to do with anything? Christmas Day, consolidated each, catch up, call the midwife. Okay. I hope this isn't porn. Oh, well, who cares? I don't care about that. All right. So as you can see, it's I have no idea. Okay, so what they're saying is consolidated numbers are higher, but I don't see Doctor Who in there at all. So I really don't know what your point is, other than yes, consolidated ratings go higher. It's generally about 1.5 million to 2 million. I will sum this up after I read this garbage. As you can see, there's quite a bump in a lot of those numbers, accounting for people who are busy doing their Christmas stuff, eating, whatever. Okay, but it didn't air on Christmas Day. Did I see the Doctor Who Christmas special in there? Did I miss it? Strictly Jungle Book, BBC, and boo. No, I don't see it. I don't know what they're talking about. Unless it was like Twice Upon a Time. They're talking about last year, right? Whatever. So yeah, it got bumped. All right. They all get bumped. Like I said before, everybody likes to get bumped. To use a more appropriate sample from 2017, Peter Capaldi's swan song episode of Doctor Who, Twice Upon a Time, which scored a 5.7 viewers in overnights, but the figure bumped up to a healthy 7.9 viewers in final ratings. So we all really know it's Doctor Who's overnight figures are slightly down from last year, but not in a particularly disastrous manner in context. But it still doesn't actually mean we yet it still doesn't actually mean much without the final ratings. Oh God. It's also not entirely a fair comparison to make, given the Christmas Day, which Doctor Who has enshrined itself as a TV event until this year and never again. Since it returned 2005, it's usually far more a major day for TV ratings in the UK than New Year's Day is. Wait a minute. I could have sworn, I got to find the article. I could have sworn how you guys were saying, it might not have been UO9, but many were saying that this was going to be better for Doctor Who. Wait, but they might get to that. Hang on. They offer similar opportunities for larger audiences as their national holidays, where people traditionally sit down and watch TV with each other. But Christmas is the jewel of the crown of the main TV networks in the UK in a way that New Year's typically hasn't been and won't be. And even then, in the past few years with the rise of streaming services and other avenues for people sit down while discussing holiday stuff, the overnight ratings for holidays have been on a slow decrease. Yeah, we all know that. That is basically reporting that water is wet. Time will tell if the BBC's decision to shift Doctor Who from Christmas has actually paid off. It'll be around the next time this week when we find the official ratings for New Year's Eve. But until then, the Daleks haven't quite exterminated Doctor Who's viewing audience, regardless of what anyone tells you. Okay. I don't care if you consolidate this up 2 million, which is so if you consolidate it up 2 million, then you've consolidated up 2 million compared to Capaldi. When they brought back Jodie Whittaker, or when they brought in Jodie Whittaker and did the first female Doctor, they weren't just trying to break even with Capaldi's ratings. They were fully expecting to have a splash, and they thought they had it early in the season. They're like, oh, 10 million viewers, here we go, which is great. It's undeniably, that's great. It's undeniable, that's great. We had almost a 30 to, depend on who you ask, a 30 to 40% drop from premiere episode to finale to special. The Christmas specials are some of the highest rated Doctor Who shows that are out, with the David Tennant Voyage of the Damned having an overnight of 12 million viewers. That's what the BBC wants. And they don't give a crap about streaming or anything. So even if you consolidate it out, you're not going to get 12. You're not going to get 10. You're still going to get a decrease. You're still going to get a downward trend. That's why Doctor Who is indeed doomed, because all we've seen is downward trends. You can spin that. You can spin your head around all you want, IO9 and BBC. Fine, don't listen to us. I care not at this point. And you just go double and triple down. And when season 12 comes out, like I said, I'm not an I told you so guy, but I'm sure there will be a line of people who, and this is no judgment on them, they'll be ready to say so. They'll be ready to say so, because listen, I promise you, if you air season 12 in spring of 2020, you are not going to even hit 5 million overnight viewers. You're not. You're going to start seeing those Capaldi type ratings, maybe worse. Now, we're going to real quick go to the US ratings. The US ratings, again, are overnight, but percentage wise, they reflect what goes on in the UK as far as interest is concerned. All right. All right. Bump it up. Get to the chat in a second. And if there's any super chats, I didn't see if there's, I'm not assuming there's any, of course, but if there is, I will get to them. Here we go. So it got a 0.27 in the 1849 demographic, had a decent size audience for cable US, but again, look in the 18 to 49 demo, look at the premiere, 0.45. Look at this one, 0.27. So you had like 900,000 people watching overnight. Yeah, you could probably get that to 1,200,000, 1,300,000. It's still down. It's still a downward trend. Honestly, I'm shocked that many people watch, but you're also going on the assumption, and I'm talking to you, BBC and IO9, that everybody watching is a positive view. It is not. I would say, a large percentage of your audience is hate watching, and hate watching's a thing. This show also, and Dave Cullen talked about it in his video, this show has amazing loyalty, where people, even if they know it's going to suck, are going to sit through and watch it because, well, like me, like I've been a Doctor Who fan for years and I want it to be good. I do. I don't want it to suck. But if you guys just want to, you being IO9, the Access Journalism, want to, and that's why it's so sad. Because IO9 is actually somebody who would is a website who would like this show. It's actually made for IO9. The problem is when you make stuff for people who read IO9, they're not the buying audience. They're not the audience that buys stuff. They're the audience that likes cute pictures of things. Now, there's a lot of nerds out there that I've noticed. When I was selling comics, there's a lot of people who are just casual nerd fans or like the idea of things, but don't really want to sit down and watch an entire episode. This is IO9 is the kind of people who watch 15 minutes of a Doctor Who episode and then consider that a watch. And you know what? That's also considered a view. I don't know how they, they probably tabulate views the same way that YouTube does. It's not like a view is somebody watching your entire video or even a full minute. So yeah, that's there's a bunch of people probably dipping in and dipping out. I would love to see figures like that. What was your average view time in minutes of a Doctor Who episode? So I'll say it before, I'll say it again. It's down. And as I've stated in my previous videos, they can't rely on these ratings. It was reported that the TV license does not pay for Doctor Who. Doctor Who is paid for by merchandising. So I'm having a hard time keeping track of their audiences. First, the ratings are good. These overnights are an absolute dead on right. Oh, and now all of a sudden they're not. And we have to wait for the consolidated ratings, which admittedly need to be put into question just a little bit. You have to kind of dig deep and see who is tabulating these ratings and then who funds them. And is there and even if the BBC doesn't fund them, is there a motivation for them to maybe, I don't know, round up? We'll say round up. Now, would you put it beyond a company to do whatever it could to make its program look good? Of course, that's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to do. But just, expect fans when they see bullshit to call bullshit. And again, I could do this all day. You can poo-poo the audience score on Metacritic or on Rotten Tomatoes or just a few YouTubers who are writing an algorithm. You know what? It actually doesn't work like that, folks. Just so you know, that whole algorithm thing. It's no. Okay, so yeah, I get a little fired up on this. What I'll say, what I've said before, and I'll say again, it's the perception of it. The perception of Doctor Who is fans are really pissed. If you want to deny that, that's fine. If you want to say that everything out here that is showing a downward trend, which is the actual ratings that are coming out, what they want to do is Doctor Who's doing fine because you were wrong on a percentage, or Doctor Who's doing fine because some of those Rotten Tomatoes are bots. So that makes the whole argument bullshit. No, you're splitting hairs. What we're talking about is the big picture here and perception. And Doctor Who is not doing well. It is not doing well internationally. If you just a sample size, America is down the same percentage as the UK is down. And my bet is Australia is down. My bet it's probably worse in other countries. South Korea, it's big in South Korea. They are trying to sell Doctor Who in China. Well, let's do a comparison. How well did The Last Jedi do in China? Why did The Last Jedi not do that well in China? Doctor Who is going to experience the same reaction. Of course, you're not going to hear any numbers from China, but when they talk about this Chinese deal that they did, that was all based on, well, Matt Smith era, David Tennant era, partial Capaldi era. We don't have any data on this era, but we are starting to hear rumblings that the merchandise sales are going down the crapper. And that is what pays for Doctor Who. So we could sit there and talk about ratings all they want. I don't really, the overnights, they matter to the UK. The problem is the UK can't support Doctor Who anymore. Why do you think if it's such a damn success, why are we waiting an extra year for it then? Don't listen to what they say. Just watch what they do. Okay. Sorry, chat. I am getting back to you now. That was a little bit of a rant. Holy crap. 5 pounds. Why'd you take away your message? You could, from Anonymous, 5 pounds. Well, maybe he was, hey, thank you from person I can't see. Was that YouTube that did that? God damn it, YouTube. Peter Davison, $5 Australian. Relax. No. 10 Canadian dollars. Congratulations being the first American to pronounce my name right. The last E is silent. Oh, right on. That's worth another super chat. Appreciated. The Cloud William, $2. Frankie say relax. What is up, everybody? This is how Doctor Who dies. I love this. Oh, Vin Vega, that is great. This is how Doctor Who dies, to thunderous applause from shills. Yeah, they're just going to double down. I'm glad to see that the Express was either, I don't know what type of site they are. They might be kind of, I don't know if they're tabloid or not in the UK. But they did report on the divide, and they did. The first place I saw that was that were quote unquote journalists that had mentioned that there is a divide between critics and fans. This is like old news. I mean, it's really obvious here. It's so obvious that they might as well just come out and admit it. I don't know what the audience score yet is for. I'll go to that in a second, but I want to get to the chat. But I wanted to see what if any critics didn't like resolution, or is it still locked at 100%? I thought time travel stories were banned in China. Were they? Maybe they were. Jibba Jabba FPV. I am going by what I read on the internet, which it could be wrong. Of course, I also read it at Bleeding Cool, so that could be wrong too. So we need to also later on, we need to talk about the other site from Bleeding Fool. We will be talking about Bleeding Fool because I contributed to them recently, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was about our Rotten Tomatoes Orville score. So sorry. Yeah, I went on a bit of a rant there. So let's catch up on the chat there. At this point, Doctor Who is deader than Corduroy. Corduroy made a comeback in the 90s. I'll have you know, when the 70s were it's weird being old enough to see eras you live in, like it because this happened when I was a teenager in the 80s. The 60s were really popular, and now we're seeing that the 80s, it's Bandersnatch just did the whole 80s thing. It's kind of cool to see. Would haters like DSC more than the shows more if they showed Stamets and Calder in in gay bondage gear? Maybe. Only thing China hates more than SJW is Japan. Yeah, China's not a fan of that stuff. They're not. I forgot they had a word for it, right? For SJWism. SJW is crazy. Some people are trying to tell me I'm too old to get SJW stuff, and that's not it. Natasha, yeah, just the you're too old argument. I mean, we've all made it when we were younger, and now that we're older, we realize what a stupid argument that is. And listen, I said it. I'm like, you're just too old, man. You don't understand. Nah, okay, I don't understand. Usually, and then you find out what older people do when young people are going to make mistakes. They generally don't try to stop them. They just go, "Can I have some popcorn?" and watch. It was before we had YouTube videos, so. What are your thoughts on Quantum Leap? I'm curious because I haven't heard you mention the show before. Humanity Observer, I casually watched it. I was never the biggest Scott Bakula fan in the world, sorry to say, but it was an okay show. I mean, but back when it was on, I wasn't watching a ton of TV. I probably, if it was on like now, it would probably be a show I watched all the time. Halam, what's up? How's it going? Do you think we'll get a Doctor Who 60th anniversary, even with all this nonsense? Kay Weber, yes, I think we will. I don't think they would pass up on the opportunity. As critical as I was and am of the BBC, they did the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who right, man. They Star Trek should hang their head in shame compared to how well the BBC did the 50th anniversary. Problem is it burned out Moffat, and he wasn't the same afterwards. And honestly, Doctor Who hasn't been the same afterwards. If they ended it there, that might have been a good place to end it. So even with the novelty factor and moving to an easier night to get ratings, all they did was get back to roughly season 8 numbers. Color me unimpressed. Joel, thank you. That's what we have here is we've just we're arguing. Listen, they've been telling me I'm doing the same thing, that I'm cherry picking reviews, which I'm doing. Yes. But I went through on both of my videos and I searched, and in my third one that I'll try to find a positive review that is more than one paragraph. And in most of the positive reviews, they all just say, it's exciting, it's thrilling, I love the plots and characters, and thank God the Doctor's a woman. And that Rosa episode was something else. It's almost like it was written for them by the BBC. But I'm not, listen, the critics don't care enough about you, the reader, to be brave enough to, again, some of them honestly like the show. I get it. But some of them, probably half, are bullshitting. And we have so many quote unquote critics out there now. It's watered down the talent pool. Demand equal pay for less work, complain that the work is too hard, consistently lose viewers despite having the best time slot, achieve historic low ratings, go social justice. Yep. Is it Aberjam UK? Yeah. And I'm glad Dave Cullen pointed that out in his video, and then read that one psychotic review that says anybody who criticizes Doctor Who is a right wing, and it's part of some I don't want to say their name, some a very evil regime from Germany in the 40s. Plot. Oh, where's my tinfoil hat? Oh, I don't have it with me right now. Was anyone else offended by Whittaker insulting an older man about the relationship dysfunctional between him and his son? She has known for a month or two. Chibnall needs therapy. Yes, Paul. That was the doctor, who has lived that long, would be evolved enough to know that fathers are people too, and people make mistakes. And the doctor should be the last person in the freaking universe to complain about somebody abandoning somebody. Let's think about that just for a second. I think Sarah Jane might have something to say for that. Aberdeen. He left her in Aberdeen. Bill. Look what happened to Bill. I mean, yeah, the doctor is the last person in the world who should be rolling their eyes and judging somebody for abandonment. The doctor shouldn't be, I mean, if we want to look at it that way, the doctor shouldn't be taking companions at all. It's entirely selfish. That's what makes the doctor interesting. That this lonely old man who's been around forever, is willing to put people's lives at risk so he won't feel lonely anymore. David Tennant's doctor, the 10th Doctor, seemed to have had enough of that. I thought that was well played, quite a bit. And they go back and forth all the time with that, and that's great. That's part of the dynamic of the story, but you can't have cutesy pootsy huggy wuggy doctor putting, she goes, oh, my best mates, my pals. That just, you know what it tells me? That we're never going to have any stakes in the show, and it's just funsy onesie time. Yeah, Alex, I don't know. I know they in China they're not big on the magic, but then Doctor Strange was allowed to be released there, so maybe magic with a lot of money, and you're allowed to. But yeah, it was bleeding cool that, and it was from an older article from earlier this year that they said they did a deal with China back in 2007. Things are different today. A generation or two ago, parents weren't nostalgic for Ninja Turtles, partly because their kids toward the franchise were neck deep in strip mining of IPs. Dr. Meatball, well said. We are. We're about to drown in it. Strip mining is a great term for it too. I'm going to use that. Okay. I'll give you full credit. How is it the Snorville, not SJW? Please elaborate. How is the Snorville not SJW? It depends on where you come from, SC. It really does. There are elements in it, sure, but there is an everything in Hollywood. So if I was, I separate the art from the artist sometimes, but what the Orville did last night was deal with something in a pretty clever way, and it just depends on where you come from on that one. But I don't think it's Snorville at all. I like the Orville. I do. But I'll give you an example. SC. Okay, so in About a Girl, And About a Girl, there was an episode where Bortus has the baby and the baby's not born a man, so they have to give it a sex change to make it more like a man. And a bunch of people are like, hell no, I ain't doing a sex change. And they're like, that's our planet's way. And they're all, don't care. Don't care. That's not our way. And they do this whole thing and they convince, Bortus that, she should stay a girl. And then, his mate says no, and they make it a boy at the end. So within that, there's multiple things going on. There's gender issues, there's personal rights issues. And I thought they showed both sides of the argument. Does the Orville do that all the time? No, of course not. If the Orville gets bad, I'll be the first to tell you. But like I've said before, SC, I'm dude, I come for I'm a by the issue person. I'm an individualist. I do not prescribe to right or left. I am a don't tell me what to do, and we're cool. That's it. And I won't tell you what to do. And we will remain cool. You start telling me what to say and what to do and what words aren't right and how I need to address people without asking me nicely. I just need to assume how to address you. No, it doesn't. The world doesn't work like that. Okay. And you guys know that. I'm talking to other people. You guys all know that. But if you don't like the Orville, though, that's cool. Watch Jodie giving her speech to the Dalek when then watch Eccleston do the same in the Dalek. The difference is astronomical. Whittaker cannot act. She can't, Aberjam. And I was thinking, when she was talking to the stock of the Dalek, like David Tennant did, and well, I mean, honestly, it was a remake. A little bit. There's a lot of Dalek in that from the first season. And just compare those two seasons, and it'll make you sad. The first trans female captain is assigned to Discovery when it's all the bridge crew come down with disease in episode 4, according to IMDb. What? That might be a joke. Can that be serious, Iron? I mean, anybody can edit IMDb. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't wait to review that one. That'll be fun. Didn't the Doctor even abandon Tegan? The Doctor. Oh my God, the sixth Doctor. I'm blanking on her name now. The sixth Doctor. Look what happened to his companion in the trial of the Time Lord. It was very tragic. A few seconds of Mocklin porn on the Orville was better than all STD. And Series 11, says Douglas Nelson. Yeah, that was it was an interesting episode last night. So we have a steampunk Dalek. Are we getting a Hello Kitty Dalek next? That's what I was thinking, Bryce. That's what I was thinking. I was a little off on that, but we got the female Dalek I predicted. And others too. I'm not the only one. Okay, I know. And we have another super chat. I'll get right back to the chat. We got a couple. Sorry. Mr. Twisted 72 for $2 in the name of the mighty wrenches. Yes, to our wrenches: Kato, Penn Farm Girl, Mary Ashmead, the DJD Show, Viking Bitch, and Movie Finobi, and Johnny Pappas, and Mako, if they're out there. Thank you. DVID $2. Here's the question. Why is no one being fired? I will get to that in a second. 2 pounds from Alacanther. So it's Flavius Alacanther. Hopefully I got that right. If not, tell me how to pronounce it, please. Thank you. Bazoo is the Chinese. Oh, there you go. Bazoo is the Chinese word I was looking for. Thank you for SJWism. So, I mean, like, listen, as far as the whole SJWism and TV shows, it's in practically everything. I mean, I've heard arguments that The Expanse is SJW, and some people think The Orville, and you're free to think that. That's cool. I personally think they're not, because while they are still trying to, you could tell what side of the street Seth MacFarlane comes from. He at least does the courtesy of trying to be neutral about it. So that's all I really ask. I'm not asking people to change their politics, and I'm not looking for another side to completely take over. I kind of want them out altogether. Allegory is fine once in a while, and we'll see how the Orville progresses. We'll see. Again, once in a while, whatever, doesn't bother me. As I said it on my short trek, and the short trek was awful. And the only thing I got out of it was in every position of power, every position. So every position where he is captured, they use, not every time, but as many times as Star Trek can, they try to show a woman in power. In Doctor Who, every opportunity they can, down to management, down to everything, they try to show a woman in power. Is it all the time? No, but it's most of the time. And if it was once in a while, I wouldn't care. But it's in almost everything I watch. I will give you a show that I like. Counterpart. Look at the big change in this. Most management are now women. Westworld, who was completely in charge in Westworld season 2? Women. Now there's an overcorrection going on. Again, if they were doing it subtly, I wouldn't care. Sure, put more women in charge. I really care not. But when it's every single time, every moment you get, and we showed Harry Mudd as the epitome of toxic masculinity. When he was bound by a man, he was an imbecile. And yes, I know it was an Orion, and I completely forgot in the review that they are a matriarchal society, but that was handpicked by the writers to show that. Star Trek Discovery season 2 will be kind of a mirror of Doctor Who season 11. Doctor Who season 11 has made a lot of the same mistakes. Star Trek, actually worse. They've actually made them worse. And when it comes down to it, if either of them were written well, people wouldn't be complaining. Maybe that is the biggest difference, SC, with the Orville and Doctor Who, is one's written well and one isn't. A clever writer can put in his stuff in allegory, and people will either go, haha, I caught that, whatever, no big deal. Some people will be peace out on it, and others will think about it if you want to be all creating conversation. But you know what? Saying you're a writer and you're going to create conversation is like calling your shot. It's like Babe Ruth pointing to the fences. You better be a pretty good writer to call your shot like that. I'm going to go create some where's my pen? I'm going to go create some conversation today. Okay. You go create conversation, straw man. Let's get back to the chat here. And thanks again for the super chats. You guys are right. Awesome. I appreciate it. All right. Remember, yes, Ice Machine 79, interesting name. Remember the ABC after school specials? That is what series 11 reminds me of. It was that before I started this podcast, I went back and watched a little snippet of Rosa again, and that whole scene where they're on the bus and they can't leave, so they have to be part of history. And Graham is the only one who speaks any kind of sense and goes, I don't want to be part of this. And the doctor goes, nope, we're going to sit and watch. Just so we, the viewer, can sit and watch. And that was the whole point. That was the whole point of that show, was for her to meet Rosa, and for basically, I bet you the conversation they thought we were going to have is, I want people to feel bad. Okay, so if you're going into a Doctor Who episode trying to make people feel bad, well, you failed, and that's not why we watch Doctor Who. Again, that's aside from the actual message of Rosa Parks and stuff. I'm talking about a TV show that poorly portrayed her historic act. It was poorly portrayed by a group, by a different country, a different country. So, yeah. So now I know, now we know how the UK feels when some Americans go out there and try to do, I don't know, something Arthurian or whatever. Just name a movie. Two new shows coming. Roswell remake. I'll probably skip that. Audit Watcher. Project Blue Book. Hope they are going to be good. I will be covering Project Blue Book. It's by Alan J. Hynek, the godfather of UFOs. I love him. By the way, I plugged the Exozone on the TV show last night. The guy let me plug Doomcock and the Exozone. So you're welcome, buddy. You're going to be so they get I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people watching here in the Bay Area. There is in the greater Bay Area, there's over 10 million people, 11, 12 million people. So hundreds of thousands of people watch that show, and they will now know in the Bay Area who Doomcock is, and myself too. The Orville doesn't ram SJWs them down your throat. Yep. And that's the difference. Now, if it's the Deceptic Codger, exactly. Now, if it did, I'd tell you. If it did, I'd tell you. Listen, there's you know what? There's SJWism in the MCU. Oh, yes, there is. Watch Spider-Man Homecoming. Did that bug anybody? It did me, actually. It did. It kind of ripped me out of the whole MJ thing. Why did they go to Graham's house when the doctor has a laboratory on the TARDIS? Because she needed peanut butter and she needed eggs. She needed eggs to do some science stuff, which in the past she was. Doctors have been able to identify the Daleks by their slime. I don't, Captain Robert April is on the bridge. What is up? I'd like to have a word with the art director about the design of the control room and what a major step backwards it is from the last version. The Orville or Doctor Who? If you're talking about the console, that looks like either an upside down spider masturbating or spider legs worshiping a penis. I don't know what it looks like, but it's not good. Yes, the people who made the Spider-Man PS4 game should be in charge of Spider-Man, period. End of story. That is beautiful. It's utterly beautiful. And it has my kid like locked in, which is great. Okay, let's get back down here. Catch up chat. Orville handles the issues very creatively and most importantly, entertainingly. Exactly. That's the way I feel about it. All I could thank goodness we can go back and watch 55 years worth of Doctor Who and stop watching before Capaldi's final series 10. Yeah. To be honest with you, I stop at 8 and I can't watch every episode of 8 because Clara just makes me insane. With all the PC crap, Barney the dinosaur is going to be the next Doctor Who with Teletubbies as the companions, or rather for the friends. Oh man. Well, at least Doctor Who had better rating this season than last season. Well, yes, that's pretty much the whole argument there. Well, at least we beat the season that everybody said was down and the show would be canceled. We beat that. Okay. I may or may not be illegally. I may or may not have illegally watched the last short Trek Online. We won't tell. Shh, it's just between us. JD free reality. I'm so tempted to complain to CBS about the poor quality. That is a half an hour of my life I am not getting back. Listen, as I said in the recap, I wish I could be a fly in the wall at the Netflix boardroom when they presented, or whoever, I don't know if it's a boardroom or if it's just a guy and they sent it to him in an email. I wish I was a fly in the wall when they saw that shit and just went, what? You want us to pay for this? Like money, like actual money. Like using the word IO9. Actual. The Dalek case was not big enough for the occupant. Thomas Williams, that is a great point. It was not. It was too skinny, but they had to make it skinny because of that picture. If I could find that picture again. Yeah, I don't know if I could find the picture again. If somebody could find that picture again, one of my wrenches. That'd be great. Of the Dalek and the woman in the 1800s, like Victorian era dress. To make Series 12 more interesting, shall we make some bingo cards for each episode? Doctor Who bingo, bad dads, LGBTQ representation, 13 preaching to me. We kind of could. The original doc, we absolutely could, because they hit every check mark at the point of, I think there's not only a checklist, I think there's a timestamp on that checklist. Like, this stuff has to happen before 30-minute mark or before 15-minute mark. I'm not even kidding on that. I've seen crazier memos, to be honest with you. When I used to work at Technicolor, I've seen crazier stuff. Remember in the movie Scrooged, when the big boss, played by Robert Mitchum, is talking to Bill Murray, and he's all, we got these figures in. Do you know how many cats and dogs are in America? Do you know how many of them watch TV? I'm not saying program specifically for them, but maybe once in a while throw in an animal. That's a lot of potential viewers. That's how they think. It's strange when you see like parody, like Running Man. Everybody uses Running Man as a great example of kind of like the times we're in, and it's not far from the truth. It really isn't. The nonconformist oath. I promise to be different. I promise to be unique. I promise not to repeat things other people tell me. Riddle me this, Batman. How do you focus on a black hole? Ooh, you don't. You get sucked in, or you just cease to exist, or you're crumpled into nothing, or you go to the other side, like the Disney movie with a couple of little robots, and one of them sounds like Slim Pickens. Anybody remember that movie? That was a good movie. I liked that movie when I was a kid. Had Mego action figures too. Secret Rebel, Nerdrotics. Congrats, Gary. You are awesome. I'm also a friend, by the way. Which friend? Secret Rebel. I think I know. Thank you. Comical Transporter Chief. Where does one that lives in the US watch Doctor Who? I can't find it on any of my apps. I watch it. Well, there's a thing called, I don't know if this is legal or not. So Reddit is a really good resource. But if you get Sling TV, BBC America, it's on BBC America, which is on Sling TV. It's also available on YouTube TV or Direct TV now. So if you're unplugged, you can subscribe to these services. They generally cost $15 to $30 a month, and it's like a mini cable package. I buy them for the show. I can't recommend a single one of them because they all have their glitches. Sling seems to be the best when it comes to the DVR function. But since I'm on YouTube, I would recommend the YouTube TV one, which offers you some cable channels, some live stuff. That's if you want to fork over. I think it's like $15 a month. It's still a lot with everything else, Oh, there'll be a pink canine, I promise you. So do you believe Doctor Who will die or change fan base and continue at the current level? Rasmus Jorgensen, thank you. That is a very good question. It will die. The current fandom that likes Doctor Who is not a fandom that's going to stick around for any amount of time. A 1,000 other YouTubers have been saying that, and I completely agree with them that the audience they're going for is based on poor data. They don't actually they don't buy anything. They don't pay attention to anything, and they're not into world building and canon and like really old timey hardcore nerds. That's what we're into. We're into the bigger story. We're not into this casual. We're not casual viewers. Okay. Comic book fans. What is a comic book? It's basically just a giant fantasy superhero novel, and the world's getting built every issue, and there's canon, and the story never ends. There's never that's actually what burns a lot of comic book readers out is the stories never end. Now some do, but most do not. Spider-Man's story will never end. We can have pretend endings, but it'll never ever end. Unless of course Marvel goes out of business, which could. We like interaction. That's why I'm not looking forward to the Punisher series on Netflix. There's going to be no interaction because all the other shows are canceled, and it's just going to end up. He'll probably end up the same place he was in season 1 or 2, like all the other series have done. I'm just looking at all other than Daredevil season 3, they all were crap. Iron Fist season 2 was Me Too times up SJW mess. Where the main character wasn't even the main character in his own show. So, and now we're going to have like I don't know if this is hyperbole or what, but yeah, we're gonna kind of have a woke Punisher. That'll be really interesting how they pull that off. So he's not going to shoot his guns. So we could have a Punisher who doesn't like shoot his guns till the end and uses a lot of knives and stuff like that. Because knives are so much better. Expanse is just people, no virtue signaling. Yep, you are correct. The Expanse, and listen, I know we all know where the writers come from, and they still show both sides of an argument, and it's just part of the story. It's not being hammered over our heads. And also it depends on the person. It really does. That progressively makes them question their orders for fear of being inappropriate and destructive to the social order of their ship. I don't know what that's a response to, but I felt like reading it. Bull. Growing up in the 80s, Nerdrotic channel, growing up in the 80s, I don't remember watching an episode and thinking, this episode makes me uncomfortable. Stop the political nonsense, Doctor Who. Exactly. Once in a while, storytelling is supposed to make you feel awkward and uncomfortable. It is. But you're supposed to also dial that like, I'm not a fan of awkward comedy. Now people are, and that's fine. It's not a judgment on it, but Curb Your Enthusiasm is a show that people just love. And I don't. And I love Seinfeld, but I just didn't like Curb Your Enthusiasm because it was super awkward comedy. And I'm just not, I'm not like sensitive to awkward. I have kids. Kids is a never ending awkward comedy and awkward situations. All right. So yeah, but it's just I wasn't a fan of Larry David, but I can understand why people love the show and it's hugely popular. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I wasn't a fan. What's up, Stephanie B? But it's supposed to be used minimally, to me anyway. Hello, Stephanie B. She just wanted to stop by and say hello. You can introduce politics into a well-written story. For example, Kirk and a Hurricane. Yep. By explaining both sides, science fiction can help people understand each other and come together. Blind spot. Orville is definitely not SJW. If it was, the critics would be praising it instead of burying it on Rotten Tomatoes. The Lethal Diva. Yep. I mean, some people are going to think it is, and that's fine. It depends on you. It depends on you. I don't see it that way, for precisely those reasons. But if people do that, yeah, rock on. It's not short trek. It's a virtually challenged trek. Yeah, it's a short trek. Abraham, UK. It's a short trek. 12 Monkeys is the show. 12 Monkeys is a show that's pro-feminist and not SJW. Cassie gets her ass beat. Jones F's up everything. Jennifer's character progression is a masterpiece. Olivia is a big bad. Hannah is selfless. Yeah, that's a good example of they put women in charge and it was still a watchable show. It got a little much at the end, but I love the ending of the show. I did. And it's still, God dang that the whole when she was in the you just go back and watch our review. It was pretty funny. But I think that show also ended when it needed to end because I think it was really riding that line. Do you think the BBC is trying to tank Doctor Who because it's too expensive to make the original doc? Uh, I that's a good question. Do you think they are trying to sabotage the show? Yeah, I think. I think things get too expensive, even though it's a good revenue generator. You got to look into. I'll equate it to this, to something in our own lives. You have a really good paying job, but you need to drive 2 hours back and forth to work. That's what Doctor Who is to the BBC. It's a really good paying job, but your commute is 2.5 hours, and you got a new boss now, and the new boss just changed everything, and she wants it to be more agenda driven, and you got to drive 2.5 hours. No, that's what they want. I think it ends after season 12. I really do. I don't be surprised. And people have mentioned this in the chat, and I agree with it, that they won't announce it as it being canceled. It'll be on hiatus or delayed. And then Jodie won't want to stick around and wait, and that'll give them a chance to look for new showrunners, and they just might take their sweet ass time because they can't make the show cheaper. They can't go back now. So maybe it's time to let it rest a little bit, which totally sucks. And it'll be like a decade, maybe more, or maybe that's it. We just assume it'll be around and come back. I wouldn't assume that. I wouldn't assume that at all. Listen, they stayed away from it for what, 15, 16 years. The Dalek just has to look like every other female plug or a male plug. Uh, yeah, if there's any anti-Semitism messages in here, they go bye-bye. We don't do that crap here. I've got good mods taking care of that. Thank you, Mako. Can you imagine what if any of the previous actors who played the Doctor ever told the fan base good riddance or openly attacked them? They had been they'd have been fired on the spot. Yes, Jason Gillick. Could you imagine a doctor, a person representing an internationally famous show, saying, well, it's not just for white dudes anymore? I mean, like, why would you say white dudes? Why not just, I mean, like, she shouldn't be saying dudes she shouldn't be saying that at all, but white dudes. So first I have to remind Jodie that she's white. I don't know if you've looked in the mirror lately, but you're white. So you're not separated from that at all. Just because you're female, you're still white. And that shows you how she looks at the world. Because I don't refer to people in blocks by their skin color. That's just not something I ever do. I don't even like that the person of color thing. That sounds very late 60s to me. And I was born in 69, and so I was around when I was a little kid when people used to refer to people like that, and it was never considered good. So I'm not going to start doing it now. I don't know why the hell we've gone backwards on that one, but hey, listen, Hollywood, BBC, entertainment, their whole culture. It's like what was it Kay said in Men in Black? A person is smart, people are stupid. Hollywood collectively is a very rich, spoiled, dumb child. It's like seasoning, Gary. Used sparingly and appropriately, it can enhance the dish, but use it too much inappropriately and you ruin the dish completely. Yep. Listen, it's happening so much now that people are noticing it here, and I'm not I'm not in the Bible Belt. Okay, we'll just say that I'm in San Francisco now. I've always, listen, I'm considered probably by many here right wing just because I'm a centrist. So whatever, I don't care. But in my conversations with people in the city, a lot more people are annoyed by Doctor Who. Some people you would think would be loving this stuff, and they're not. They're not, because the stories are bad. They're just bad. And I don't know. Listen, I've always been of the opinion that we have more in common than not. There's, if it's again arguing over like dumb details, you know. Now, season 2 of the Orville has been weak so far. Deaths 0079. Many have said that. Many have said that. I think its first season had a little bit of a rough beginning as well. But listen, I didn't mind last night's episode, but I'll save it for the review. But if you want to talk about it, that's cool. There might have been some stuff in there that made some people uncomfortable or just didn't like. Again, I'm in San Francisco, so I am desensitized to that completely. Battlestar Galactica went to, oh no, I don't think so. I don't think Battlestar Galactica went through SJW. My chat jumped on me. I'll get back to read that. I don't want to comment because I didn't read the whole thing. I don't disrespect you. You're not missing anything with the Gifted season 2. Oh, I know I'm not. They wasted too much time on feelings in hallways, capture characters, and running from cops. Yeah, you know what? 2 episodes in, and I am just sick to fracking death of the hunted and feared mutants thing. It's played into the goddamn ground, and it's used to again. It's the Gifted is very. It turned very SJW to me, and probably always was. But it really doubled and tripled down. And yeah, there was just too many people sitting around and talking. And I don't watch superhero stuff to hear superheroes called by their first names in their street clothes talking about feelings in hallways. I really don't give a crap how Polaris feels about her baby. I thought the baby being born was fine and you just move on from that, but no. James, I have not completed The Leftovers. I need to. Christopher Eccleston, what I saw of him in it was pretty good. Is something like Continuum from years ago, SJW. It has a female protagonist and an Occupy terrorist group as antagonists, but has fascists in the show, multiple sides to topics. I don't know. I didn't watch Continuum, so I don't know. People might ask that of Mr. Robot. I think that would be more applicable to Dr. Meatball, especially, and that would probably be a good question, but Mr. Robot, while it's based on the whole Occupy thing as well, it's turned into its own beast, and I see it as like surreal art, so it doesn't really bother me. Austin Woods, I'm not sensitive to awkward. I have kids. Yes, exactly. When you've been crapped and pissed on, how much lower you can go lower, but believe me. And yeah, how much lower can you go? Seriously. Woke Punisher uses his powerful arsenal to trigger phrases and oppression, masculinity, to bring justice to legally non-conforming people kinds. There has to be a balance. You're right. I don't know what it was for, Joanne, there, but you're right. There has to be a balance to everything. For shit's sake. Malwinius Serenio Ulfrim from York. You're exactly right. The Expanse is proof that you can pull off an inclusive and diverse series without rubbing stuff in people's face. And it's not even, yes, there's rubbing stuff in people's face. That what Doctor Who does has nothing to do with the story behind exactly, or the story being told. When somebody points it out, like it's there as diversity, the former diversity in comics. I don't know why he changed his name. Why'd you do that? Why did you do that? I don't know why he did that. It's called Think About Comics now, but his phrase of purse puppies. That's what it is. When you're like, look what I've got. I've got a person of color over here in my show. Like you just bought something and put it on a shelf. And the fact that there's no self-awareness when people say stuff like that is mind-boggling. And it also shows probably IQ level. Sorry. Or maybe you just don't care. Or maybe they're the racist. I don't know. But yeah, when you have to point something out like that as a sales point, well, that for one, uh, that's how you're talking to your audience. So you think your audience would go, "Oh, that's something that would make me watch the show because that's okay now." What? But people don't get that. Some, you guys do. You're smart. The world keeps spinning. The whole of Series 11 just felt like a terrible internet spin-off series. Yes, it was class, but maybe worse. Uh, Woo, says Stephanie B. Hi, everyone, Max. Hello, Max. How are you? Tina BB, what is up? What's up? Oh, the Valkyries are here. Dun, 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 dun. Mark Jindra. Matters of race and social justice are things we should always be aware of, but we do not need to get hammered over the head and more constantly in our entertainment. Especially, yes, Mark, especially when it's like cultish. You know, I heard that term being attributed to that, and it's cultish. And it's not about social justice at all. If you go back and watch my PC Doctor Who video at the end, I put Stephen Fry at the end, and he talks about why he is against political correctness. And within it, the whole argument gets summed up in a sentence where he goes, "People are more obsessed with being right. It's a personal thing." So it goes super deep. It goes into self-esteem. So the things you like, it basically comes with a low self-esteem, which is, you know, tragically a huge problem in Western civilization in America. It's something I deal with a lot in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, and when I go and visit, jails and rehabs, the first thing that sticks out is self-esteem. I got to act like a badass, or I got to act like this. But on the nerd level, on a very much lighter level, we get attached to our properties. I say this, I'll use my I statements. I get attached to my properties, and I have gone through this myself. I'm not afraid to admit, shit, with the Star Wars prequels, I was in total fucking denial. I was in complete denial after I saw the Phantom Menace. It took me like a week to realize, oh, that completely sucked. And it sucked. It sucked to come with that. There's a lot of people dealing with that. So on a much larger level with political correctness, or picking a politician, or picking a property, or liking a comic book, when somebody else insults it, people take it personally. They automatically take it personally. And you know what? Sometimes when people are insulting something, they are taking a jab at you personally. They are. And listen, again, I'll use my I statements. Sure, I've done that in the past too. I'm a human being. It's not something I'm proud of. It's not something that's nice, but it's something that happens. But most of the time when we're criticizing stuff, we're just criticizing the stuff. But somebody out there watching my video, or watching one of your videos, or reading one of your reviews, or being in a conversation with you, takes it personally when you said, "Phew, man, Doctor Who season 11 sucks." And that person hears, I suck. That person thinks I suck because I like it. No. No. I would generally say most of the people who think Doctor Who sucks don't think the people who like it suck. They might question your taste, but they don't think you suck as a person. So don't take it so goddamn personally. It's just a TV show. And when I hear the goddamn argument, why you're an old man. Yes, I'm an old man. And I am complaining about Doctor Who, a children's show. Okay, it's not a children's show. It's marketed to 18 to 49. I got one more year in that demographic, and I'm going to hold on to it. But on the other hand, using your argument, you are an adult defending something you weren't personally involved in at all. You didn't get paid for it. Is your mom in it? I mean, like, why are you defending it? Why do you care if I'm criticizing it? And why are you using the argument? Why are you an old man talking shit about Doctor Who? Well, we could do this all day. We could do it all day. Listen, I have a microphone and an internet connection. That's why I can do it. I think the opening space battle in Return ROTS Revenge of the Sith should have occurred later on the movie. Imagine during the Jedi Council meeting, huge droid fleet suddenly attacks Coruscant. The Jedi jump into action. As Observer, dude, that would be awesome. Thank you for the 10 pounds. Have you read the novelization of Revenge of the Sith? It is very, very good. It is very good. Would not steer you wrong on that one. Get the audiobook, read it. Trust me on that one. After you read it, you're going to go, holy shit. If they would have given us this movie, we'd be telling a whole different story. George Lucas might still own Star Wars. Troy Tempest. You didn't ask me a question. Is Australian $2.99? Thank you so much, Troy. Pop in a question, hit at Nerdrotic. I will, or comment, or anything. John Lane, $5. Why can't Doctor Who go the way of Star Trek The Next Generation? Make a few seasons on TV, then make movies. Why wouldn't that make sense to the BBC? They had thought about that, but they chose a female doctor over cinematic Doctor Who, and they wouldn't do a female cinematic Doctor Who because they don't feel like a female is marketable enough to do that. Now, Dave Cullen brought it out, and he was smart because I didn't know this because I don't know everything. I'm not omnipotent or anything. They were considering a female doctor back in the 80s. That is true. Why? Because they were out of ideas. They were out of ideas. They were at the end of their rope. So when did they do it this time? When they were like, screw it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The problem is it got so politicized. It has to work now. It has to work. They cannot admit defeat. And the critics are helping them. The media is helping them as much as possible. And if they put out a well-written show, they probably would have been okay. If they would have taken the time, of course, there would still be people complaining and not liking it. I'm not even going to say I'm not one of them. I don't know if I'd like it or not. But it doesn't matter because it sucked. And now they're trying to tell us it didn't suck. And this is like, here we go again. Here we go again. We just had a whole year of this with Star Wars. I don't know if there's, I'm pleasantly surprised at the clapback for Doctor Who. I didn't think there would be this much. I was wrong, and I'm glad. And we'll see if it continues a year. Maybe that is part of the reason for a delay. Maybe Chris Chibnall just doesn't want to go through this for a year. I don't know. What do you guys think? Thank you for the super chats, by the way. I really appreciate it. And Scaro Trek. Oh, I like that name. JJ Trek and Discovery are as much Star Trek canon as Gold Key comics from the 1970s, except Gold Key comics from the 70s were much better. Much better. God, those were good. Great covers on those. Oh, I love those comics so much. What do you think about RLM turning on STD in their latest video? Oh, turning on. Oh, Red Letter Media. Oh, did they? Yeah, because they kind of backed it in their first one. Well, I'm sure they're writing. I'm sure that was their opinions changing. I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, I would like when you get that big. Listen, I liked Red Letter Media. I like it when they do Mr. Plinkett. I do not speak ill of other YouTubers. Here's what I will do. Here's the promise for me. I'm not going to tell you what I think you want to hear. I'm just going to tell you what I think. Because you could spend years on this telling people what you think people want to hear. And that's, I'm just going to, we're going to still have a conversation. I'm not, I'm like, they were asking me on Creature Features last night. So what would you call yourself? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not a critic. I'm not a commentator. Critics, like a real critic has to actually like go to school for that stuff. And, otherwise you're just, just a fan. I'm a fan. And there's nothing wrong with being just a fan. Troy Tempest, Australia 299. I only get 50 characters. Left a message back in at 9:02. At 9:02. Okay. Let's see if I can get back there. 0902, which would be, I don't know what time that is. I could try to search it. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Troy, sorry about that. No, it must be gone. Hey, if you could put it back in there, please. Sorry about that. I didn't catch it. Austin Woods loves Clara. I don't. I like the Clara in Asylum of the Daleks. I've said that before. But that was the Clara we were supposed to get. Ask CBS for a refund of my MKV files. Dax. DVID 2020 $2 idea. Bring back Clara and Bill, then watch the fire. Wow. Twitch has classic Doctor Who starting January 5th. There you go. If they just ran, I think they had a stream of all the classic ones going. That was brilliant. Okay, I'm going to try to get through some chat, and then I'll give you my quick thoughts on Bandersnatch. How many people watch Bandersnatch? Did anybody watch it? Saw the article today blaming the low Who ratings for resolution on the fact that it was not on Christmas Day, but not using the same argument for the high Sunday ratings. Yeah, Mike J. There was an argument that it was actually Bandersnatch that hurt Doctor Who, even though that was released on another streaming network on the 28th. And they were noticing, there was a lot of talk on the internet, but the only talk for Doctor Who was just people being pissed about it. Yes, because that's the only thing to talk about for the show, because it's not good. I mean, for the critics to have the sack to come out, listen, take away the bots. Do you think that audience participation score on Metacritic and the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic are going to change very much? Okay, maybe they bump up to 30%. That's still freaking awful. Guess what? 50% is awful. When half of your fans are mad, that's awful. You think Disney wakes up and goes, well, at least only half of our fans are pissed off for Star Wars? No. When I ran the comic book store, if one of my subs was pissed, we had a problem. And we had to see, we had 300 subscribers, give or take. I wanted to know if they had a problem. Now, that's a small enough number to deal with people individually, but just look at it at percentages. They don't wake up in the morning. Well, at least they didn't used to. Maybe they don't care anymore. Or do you think they're just that oblivious to where, what? Half the people don't like our stuff? Why? What could be the problem? Doctor Who will die, then come back in 15 to 20 years, just like it came back with Eccleston. That's my guess. How did they even call that Iron Fist? It should have been Iron Courier, because he carried his power to the female superhero who the actress didn't feel the need to work out before her role. Hang on. I got to show you a picture that kind of gives us example of what I am talking about. If the picture comes up. Oh my God, that looks terrible. That looks terrible. Sorry, I'm looking at Captain Marvel with what the hell? Oh, they're already show times for Captain Marvel are up, everybody. You running to buy your tickets? If I can't find the picture, you're just gonna have to imagine it in your head. There's that picture of Jude Law and Brie Larson kind of going like this, and Jude Law's arms like, and she's got her little noodle arm going there. It's like, we heard about all this working out she did for the role and everything, and but she's got superpowers that would still enhance your body a little bit. Yeah, I can't find the picture. You guys know what I'm talking about, though. That's kind of what happened in Iron Fist. Noodle Arm got the power, and Bortus is becoming the stereotypical male looking for the great release, and getting computer virus for downloading internet porn on for his addiction. Uh, SJWs will soon scream. Well, see, that's the thing. That's where you can't win with that one, because there are some people calling the show SJW, and it's like, it's really not. SJW wouldn't do dick jokes. Um, Now they're probably talking about the all male relationship and how they hide, how they use that within the show. Yeah, again, yeah, there was an awful lot of porn set up in that. It's that's not the kind of stuff I watch, so I was like, but again, I'm in San Francisco. I'm desensitized to that stuff, uh, and it's really that it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. It's not something I seek out, but it doesn't bother me. And it was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny. It was kind of the one thing Seth MacFarlane tends to do is overuse a joke, and I thought it was kind of overdone. I thought the third time was a bit much, but it infecting the ship, and then you know what? Spoilers: people died. People died. So yeah, of course there was at the end there was a woman in charge. There was, and that's the Bechtel test. That's the whole Bechtel test thing that they that Hollywood is abiding by almost 100% now. And it sometimes, yeah, it can ruin a show like Westworld season 2. It completely ruined it. Um, uh, okay, I gotta go way down here because I went Observer, dude. Oh, removed his message. Why did you remove? Oh wait, message removed due to white privilege. I didn't catch that. That was good. Very good, Observer, dude. There you go. 2 pounds. Nice. I was like watching it out of the corner of my eye. Well done. Well done. Um, 45 people died. Yeah, at the end. So there's consequences to this. And yeah, because okay, here's why when oh my god, why am I fucking forgetting his name now? The navigator, the navigator, the ginger, when he was talking about twisting one off, when Bortus was, he's all, man, I just did it for that's why I'm so relaxed right now in the meeting. Yeah, that wouldn't be allowed. Like there would be no humor at all if this thing was full on SJW. Uh, but there does need to be a couple more dick jokes. I'm down with that. If Seth is using the Bechtel test at all, it's to blow it as much as possible. Yeah, that old Bechtel test, it's affecting things. It really is. Jude Law is Marvell. Yes, he is. So there's that picture of him and Brie Larson, and they're both like got their arms up, and they're supposed to be all showing out, pumped up their arms. It's kind of like the Predator, like what's up? And yeah, and she's got like a noodle arm. Let's see if I can find it this way. Oh, just when I got to prep this crap before I do this, but I wasn't thinking of it then, and I am thinking of it now. But this will get close. Wait, I might have found it. Nope, I didn't find it. Oh my god, is it on? Never mind. I don't want to take you to this website. Forget it. We'll just move on. It's a terrible website. Gord Malloy and his niece is on The Young and the Restless. um, do you speak jive? Oh, movies you can't talk about anymore. I wasn't in the chat when you were talking about who would be the doctor in a recent live stream, but I like to see Iwan Rowan, great actor, and the doctor would be Welsh finally. There we go. I thought Jude was Jan Rog. I've heard Jude being 4 different things, Mr. Twisted 72. I've heard Marvel. I've heard Jan Rog. I don't know. And more importantly, I don't think I care. I'm not sure. I kept expecting cheesy porn music to play when Bortus was playing out his fantasy, but I wanted them to spend more time on the planet getting destroyed by the star. I did too. The B plot was much more exciting. And I said that in the first show. I think the thing is, the marriage counseling thing was done okay. It was. But as somebody who's been to marriage counseling, it goes a lot deeper than that. You can't just like fix it in a session. And it was very just paint by numbers. I thought that could have been done a little better, but otherwise it did some stuff that Star Trek could never do. And listen, my expectations for the Orville are not the same when I pay to see Star Trek Discovery. I'm getting the Orville practically for free, and it's a parody. So I don't look at it as Star Trek. I know people are calling it's Star Trek, and it kind of is the Star Trek we got, but right now it's just a Star Trek parody. It's really good. And it could turn into something like Venture Brothers, which started out as a Johnny Quest parody and turned into like one of the best shows on TV, one of the best written things ever. It could be that. It could happen. It's early in the second season. It was like a 7 out of 10 episode. It was pretty good. It was almost like lack of a better analogy, kind of Quantum of Solace. So it was the sequel to About a Girl. About a Girl was a classic, great episode, like probably the best Orville episode and probably one of the better episodes of television. And then you got a decent sequel out of it. Quantum of Solace was, basically a really like a big long cutout fifth act from Casino Royale, maybe. I enjoyed it the first time I watched it, and I'll probably never watch it again. Yeah, Baizuo. So K Weber says Baizuo is pronounced Baizuo. Thank you. Captain Marvel tickets on sale. My gosh, let me go to Fandango now. Joking. Tina Beebe. Yeah, you can buy tickets right now to Captain Marvel. I can listen. I'm counting down to the article. Record sales for Captain Marvel beat Black Panther. Okay. Okay. Did you see the Rotten Tomatoes critic score for season 2, the Orville, since Disney now owns it? Zombie KLR 13. I did. Interesting. Very interesting. Actually, it's a lot more realistic, isn't it? And maybe that's part of the reason why Rotten Tomatoes fudges everything. Because if it was really honest with all critics, then everything would be about 50 or 60%. That's what everything would be. So, yeah, can't really want to run a website that for profit that way. Also, we should add that Rotten Tomatoes is owned by a Comcast, right? Isn't it owned by Comcast? I looked it up the other day. It's probably good to know. Those owned by. No, really? No. The Rotten Tomatoes is owned by Fandango. I did not know that. Yeah. It's owned. Oh, wait. No. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. It's owned by Warner Brothers and Universal. NBC Universal does own 70% of it. Warner Brothers 30%, but they call the owner Fandango. But if you dig just a teensy bit deeper, which means Wikipedia, yeah, NBC Universal, Comcast, and Warner Brothers. Go down the rabbit hole. Universal Studios. Yes. I was just about to say the name. Captain Marvel outpaces Black Panther in pre-ticket sales. Remember, they did the same thing with Solo. Didn't believe it either. Tina Beebe, thank you. I was brain farting on the movie. I'm like, what is the movie they said beat Black Panther in pre-ticket sales? Solo. So they're coming. Let's see if they're out yet. I mean, like seriously, as soon as any of you see that article, please tweet it at me if I don't catch it, please. Because that will be worthy of doing a video on. Absolutely worthy of doing a video on. Let's see if it's out there now. Ticket sales. All it is advanced ticket sales. 4 days ago, they were anticipated the most anticipated 2019 releases. I bet you they're asking the question, what's it's probably multiple choice. Out of these movies, what is the most anticipated? And people will automatically pick the Marvel movie. Yeah, there's no article. Oh, box office Captain Marvel is being set up to fail. That's an old article. That's from September. Why does he say that? Oh, it's Scott Mendelson. Yeah, somebody probably did 800 videos on this already. Never mind. Yeah, that article is coming out soon. That's coming out soon. When we can predict their articles, I mean, how bad has it gotten? Okay, let's predict Captain Marvel headlines. Captain Marvel, the hero we need. It's time for Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, finally, a female Marvel superhero kicking some ass. Captain Marvel, better than men. Okay, maybe they won't do that one, but with Captain Marvel and Doctor Who, we don't need men any. I mean, like male heroes are not needed anymore. Most anticipated movie of 2019, Iron Sky 2. Oh. Supposedly, Captain Marvel is more desired than Episode 9 in recent poll. You couldn't pay me to see either one. Yes, I think that's asking, like, would you rather throw up or have diarrhea? Seriously. Okay. We're yeah, I'm getting like way too long in this, and I do have to talk about some of the stuff in my title. So Bandersnatch. All right. So we've talked mostly about Doctor Who, a little bit about the Orville, and I definitely changed the titles to what we ended up talking about. We mostly talk about Doctor Who nowadays. We talked a little bit about the Orville. So I got to call Bandersnatch. So I watched it. I didn't watch like the whole 5-hour version and did every single thing because who has that kind of time? I don't. I wish I did. More importantly, it was a great concept that I hope they do again, but it ended like those choose your own adventure books ended, which was always kind of, huh? So the ending I got, by the way, spoilers for Bandersnatch. I mean, how can you spoil this? Because there is different endings. And listen, I know there's the whole was Colin what was it, the band, the demon or whatever the hell it was in it. And yes, he was the guy who was giving you bad information. Who was really in control? Was I in control? Was Netflix in control of me, or was somebody in control of Netflix? And they actually introduced Netflix in the show. So it's a very small story. It's about a kid in the 80s who is a video game designer that's taking up a game that was a book written by somebody else who went crazy and decapitated his wife. And it's a choose your own adventure book that he's turning into a video game. He sells it to an upcoming video game company. He has kind of his Gandalf or his Obi-Wan Kenobi there named Colin, who was played very well. I don't know the actor's name, but I dig him. I dig him. That kid's gonna be a star. He's gonna be good. The main kid in it, he was okay. He was good. But it was a very small story. It just had aside from a couple side characters, it had the psychiatrist, the dad, the main kid, Colin, who's the only name I'm remembering, and the boss. And you had to choose your own adventure. And if you didn't choose quick enough, Netflix would choose for you. So you had to be kind of quick. So if you're I'm the kind of person who kind of does two things at once. So I missed a lot. So I had to go back and redo it. Basically, we find out that he finds out that he's not in control, and we think we are part of the story. So it's a very Philip K. Dick, multiple, like who's in control of what, technology, us, multiple realities, cause and event, blah, blah, blah. They drop acid in it. And honestly, that's when it hit me like, this is really made for somebody dropping acid. Like this would probably be really amazing to somebody who ate some shrooms or dropped some acid. The thing is, most people don't do those things. So like where it played well to me for the most part, what took me right out of it, and yes, admittedly, it's because I am sensitive to this stuff. It might not be a big deal to you, kind of like SC in here was earlier saying the Orville is SJW. I say it's not. We respectfully disagree on this one. That's cool. I don't have a problem with SC, but here's the deal. When they had the kill the dad option, I was like, fuck you. Bye-bye. So that was just my personal thing. And that was it. And that's because it's such a trope that I'm so fucking tired of right now. I can't stand it. So even though it showed him going crazy and he wasn't necessarily a bad dad, he was just like a normal dad, and it was showed the kid dissenting in the madness. And there was some very good scenes in it. And I liked the part where him and the psychiatrist have the fight. I thought that was really funny. Some of the vintage, they got the 80s kind of right. I felt like I was in the 80s. The good aesthetic, good choice of music. Yeah, I thought some parts were good, some parts were bad. I didn't like the kill dad option, but some people might disagree with me on that one. That's fine. I understand that. But I think the ending just fell a little apart for me. So I wanted a little more. I love Black Mirror. I love Black Mirror. It is such a well done show. It is not for everybody because really the one thing Black Mirror does that the Twilight Zone didn't. Twilight Zone once in a while will give you a happy ending. Black Mirror does not give you happy endings, period. End of story. That's not what it's about. I think it's a really groundbreaking show, but this one fell a little bit short for me. That's it. Just a little bit. There was moments in it. I love the concept and I really want Netflix to do more of this, but I want them to do it with something bigger. And I know that'll be more expensive. And I know they're just rolling this out as a test, but honestly, you need like something like a fantasy or even like do a version of Bright. Let's choose your own adventure. By the way, I'm a huge fan of Bright. I know not everybody is, but I am a huge fan of Bright. That was amazing. I loved it. Thoughts on the Twilight Zone remake? If they do their own stories, James, I am totally okay for them redoing stories. And yes, I know the movie redid stories, and I didn't like the fact that they redid stories back then, although one of them turned out great. Okay. George Miller's Nightmare at 30,000 feet. Guess what? They're doing it again. I don't want woke Twilight Zone. I'll just come out and say it. I don't want woke Twilight Zone, but and Twilight Zone is something that deals with politics, and I know, but it does it almost to perfection. It's to me, the Twilight Zone, the original best written show in the history of television. Nothing will ever beat the writing in that show. Period. Definitely check out Mark Zickery's book, The Twilight Zone Companion. And if you haven't seen a Twilight Zone, yes, it's an old show in black and white, and it's fucking brilliant. I grew up on that. Penn Farm Girl says, I thought Bandersnatch was a great first try. I probably feel different if there wasn't the kill dad option in there. And the thing is, I chose not to kill him, but then they have you kill him later. Like there's then it says, nope, you need to kill him. And then It's how you kill them, and then it's how you get rid of the body, and it's yeah. Thanks for recommending The Expanse on episode 10. Already my second favorite show. Nothing will ever top Venture Brothers. Kevin Schoenfeld. Sorry if I mispronounced your last name. That's okay. You can like both of them. Never run up the stairs. Well, yeah, especially with scissors. I hope they don't remake Fantastic Voyage by Asimov. Thomas Williams, they're going to remake everything. Geek Out Loud. Bright, so lame. Unsub, JK. Yeah, sometimes I like stuff that's weird. I liked Bright. I did. And I'm not a Will Smith fan or anything. I will. Oh my God, look at that 18-year-old Susan Layton picture. That's pretty funny. What about, is it posted on there? Is it going to be obvious, Pen Farm Girl? Ah, thank you. There we go. Ah, that's the picture this is close to the picture I was looking for. Here we go with the Dalek in the 1800s dress. Thank you. Yep. That's what they were shooting for. And you are absolutely right. That casing is way too small for the Dalek. The Dalek doesn't live in the bottom. Okay. The Dalek lives right in the middle, right there, and in the top. Yep. I mean, did you see the size of the Dalek when it was on the wall? It's way too damn small. Thank you, Pen Farm Girl. When I see the social justice crap going on, I think I'm in the Twilight Zone. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You can't not kill Dad. Yes, Andrew. I know that sucked. Listen, I know it's part of the story. I do. It's just it took me personally out of it. I don't again judge you for enjoying it. I really thought it was it should exist, and I'm glad it does. And I'm not sorry I didn't play it. And yeah. Rod Serling was the best writer in television history. Clay Smith, you are correct. Rod Serling was a genius. Thirsty for Dalek hips. Says it's silhouetted animated for $2. Oh, man. Thank you for the super chat, Super Dalek. We had £2 again with a message retracted. That's YouTube. YouTube is doing something there. I don't know what you got. Be careful here, guys. And gals, be careful what you put in the super chats. YouTube is super, super draconian with what you put in the super chat. So, like maybe if you want to at Nerdrotic and say it in the chat, as long as it's not like Maka was mentioning earlier, anti-Semitic, because that stuff doesn't go here ever. So, I mean, you could bring it, you're just going to disappear at that point. So just, don't waste your time. Did I try because so there is an option not to kill Dad? But I didn't play, like I said, Cabbage, I didn't play everyone. I probably will over time, and maybe my opinion will change on it. I put 2.5 hours into it. Now I know there's like 5 hours you can put into it. Am I wrong there? So I mean, admittedly, I did not put the entire time. So yeah, so it could change. My opinion could change. But that's probably like another week till I'm done. But again, awesome idea though. Great idea. Great idea. And that's why we win with the streaming wars, folks. With all this streaming wars going, we're going to get tons of really good stuff. Groundbreaking stuff that they would never take a chance on in the good times. Right now, it's when you get some of the best creativity is when the competition is highest, when we're in a format change or something like that. And that's where the middle, that's why we're kind of in a golden era of television. It's television and movies. Television is getting more cinematic, and movies are getting more serialized. And we're looking for more serialized storytelling. We're looking to spend more time with entertainment, whether that's a good thing or bad thing. on all of society. It's a debate for another day. I'm not here to debate that. I'm here to debate the television. So, yeah, but it ends the story when you choose not to kill the father. It does, right? And doesn't it restart you? I was confused about that because I didn't go through everything though. So that's part of the reason. In these dark times, yes, Jibba Jabba. In these dark times, where you know most of the world, most of the world still doesn't have running water, to be honest with you. But a lot of the world has an internet connection. You got to remember that too. Um, and I don't know about in other countries, but being homeless sucks. It does, and there's a lot of homeless people here, but they all have cell phones that are paid for by the city. Theocrat of Poontang. I don't know. It might have. Hang on. It might have been you. No, yours didn't. I missed it. I'm sorry. My bad. When they say Doctor Who is a kid show, they should use. Yes, there should be a one-word reply. Oh, absolutely. Midnight, the creepiest, most unsettling episode I've ever seen. Theocrat of Poontang. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I apologize for missing it, and you are correct. A great episode, a great usage of David Tennant's acting skills. And you could tell, like, we spent all our budget for the end of the series, so we don't have a lot for this one. So let's have everything take place in a shuttle and basically do a play. And it was fucking awesome. And it doesn't really have an ending. And you don't know what took over. It was creepy as hell. Really. And why was it creepy as hell? Because we never see what the entity is. We see a shadow, but the whole concept of we're driving out on a planet we can't even look at. It's a planet of pure diamond, and the UV rays would kill you instantly. And everything was awesome about that. Thank you again, Theocrat Poontang. Sorry, I missed that. I feel bad. Sorry. Yep, same here. We also have homeless selling a magazine on the street corners here, but every one of them are not homeless. Or is that in the UK? In London, I noticed a lot of your homeless are very young, extremely young. I spent a few hours going through different choices to see the endings I get. Some were interesting, some were a bit predictable, but still interesting, said Jody. Okay. Yeah, we've covered why it's BS that the 9th century folks could take down a fully functional Dalek. Have we covered that? I did in my review video, Ronan Daily. It's total bullshit. That being said, doesn't that story sound a lot more interesting than the one we got? Like, I would rather see, okay, really a 9th century. For one, it was okay. In typical BBC fashion, it was 3 armies who were very diverse, who were fighting each other, who came together because we're stronger together. And one was South Pacific, but the guy looked like he was Moorish. I don't know. Was he from the South Pacific, or did he just take it there? Okay, so where was his army from? And where were they all fighting each other? In Yorkshire? Or were they not in Yorkshire? I was a little confused about that. And one was Russian. Okay, I know there was a lot of, I don't know. We got to admit that our history gets really fuzzy back then. There's a lot of mixture of myth and actual history. So do not want to put spoilers, but there are 2 ways to not kill dad. Okay. Thank you, Otaku Master. And yeah, I'll play the rest and I'll get back to you. How's that sound? I don't mean to be fully critical. Just so I will put on the edition that I have only done 2.5 hours of it. There is more to check out. The problem is, I wonder how many people are going to put like full time into it. And good on you if you did. 13th Doctor is so dumb, yet the writers make sure to do all the make sure all the dumb ideas work. This is lazy writing. Uh, yeah, it's well, I mean, it was just like the short trek last night. God, it was called The Escape Artist. It had Rainn Wilson, who was like a very clever comedian. So they could have done some really clever, fun, interesting ways of him getting out of traps. And they just did the laziest one at the end. Oh, he just made copies of himself. Ha. And he dressed up as a woman. I mean, Occam's razor, but really. I spent okay, I already read that one. Nah, it's cool. You make a good point about the dad's attack these days, but Bandersnatch, I promise, is a little more respectful. Okay, gotcha. Yep, awful young homeless, mainly children who are in care. Once they hit 18, they give birth to a bundle of cash and are told to go on their way. Really annoying. Yes, there's some other insidious stuff I saw there too, but I don't talk about it here on this channel. The Dalek has used its shields to disintegrate 5.56 NATO within a 5 point within 10 meters in the Eccleston episode. So how could people with swords take it down? Right. It beat that Dalek even in a weakened form. Mr. Monkey Lint beat the shit out of a full. I'm sorry, I'm not a military person. Was it infantry or whatever? Like a bunch, a battalion and annihilated everybody. But the doctor, Jodie, was able to hold it down by herself for a minute. Now, it's been insinuated that the doctor is a little stronger than the average, human. That's been insinuated quite a bit. And we know the doctor has a healing factor. So, but it does kind of take a toll on the regeneration. But they've never come out and totally said that. And I'm glad they don't. I don't want to ever know that. You know what? I don't ever want to know about the doctor's family. I just want to keep it to. I have a feeling they're really going to hit that stuff hard next season. I am thankful that they there was that whole warning. I even did a video on it on them rewriting the Time Lord's past. They did it well. They gave the doctor a religion, some sisters, and now an absentee father. So I guess they kind of did that, did they? Uh, I'd like to pursue the Zionism tangent, but this is supposed to be politically free chat. Yes, it is. 100%. We could the whole gist is get it the fuck out of my entertainment. I don't care, and a lot of people don't care too. That's not why we watch stuff. Um, Doctor Who has always been more science fantasy than science fiction. Totally agree, Graham. When the characters in the story are bad, you start noticing it more. Absolutely agree, Graham. That's the great thing about Doctor Who is it could be a little bit fantasy, science fiction, horror, mystery. It's such a that's what I love. It's a great template that was mishandled, misused, and practically destroyed in 1 year. I live in Southern California, the high desert to be exact. Palmdale, Mr. Twisted 72. I know exactly where you live, and I grew up in in Encinitas, San Diego, North San Diego County. I know where Palmdale is, and I love the high desert. I used to go out there all the time to J Tree, Palmdale, Palm Desert, uh, Palm Springs. Love Palm Springs. I was just in Palm Springs a few months ago. Gary, would you watch the Oscars if the Muppets host? Are the Muppets seriously going to host? I'd watch it if only hosted by Waldorf and yeah, I would too. I'd watch it if Bruce Campbell hosted. The Sisterhood of Karn was basically the leftover religion before Rassilon came to power and banished them. Yes. What beard products do I use? I don't. I wash it with normal like shampoo and I condition. But I don't use like oil or stuff like that. I was handed some yesterday by one of the guys that God, I'm blanking on his name, and he works at our salon too, and I should know his name, but I don't. He handed me some beard oil, somebody whose name I should know, and I don't because I'm not there that much. I know I'm terrible. Next season, we find out that Captain Jack is Jenny's child, which will be why both spontaneously heal and do not regenerate, says Chris Persia. Oh, interesting. Carrie Dalton. I've started to realize that good writers can take the existing idea and move it forward with new characters. Bad writers can only go backwards, fill in gaps, aka fanfic. Carrie Dalton, you're so goddamn spot on right there. 100% spot on. It's it's what hacks do. The reason they go to prequels is because it's easier for them to write. They have a template and they just fill in gaps. You're right. That's why everybody's going prequel, because they're effing lazy. Rebecca Gold, what's up? The last Doc Poo had such bad writing. When the cameras were being knocked out, the doctor said, "They're knocking out the cameras." There's no need for that line. We can see it happening. I know. She says everything out loud. Everything. I mean, I get it. That's part of the manic part. But yeah, when we can see it happening, and somebody was in there going, I know she said they're knocking out the cameras, but maybe we should show it too, because the audience is really dumb. And well, the new audience, I don't know. Was great point, Rebecca. Great point. Was there a Doctor Who episode about King Arthur? Was there a Doctor episode about King Arthur? Going to memory banks, Arthurian times. I listen. I have not seen all of them because all of them don't exist. I gotta double check this because no, I don't think King Doctor Who King Arthur. Oh wait, no. I'm checking to see if there's any like comics or anything. Doctor Who King Arthur. Stephen Fry's unproduced script, the 1920s, was based on the Arthurian legend of Sir Gawain, the Fisher King. Before the Flood, Before the Flood, is named after the eponymous the Fisher King, an Arthurian legend, who, like the Doctor Who character, is in need of aid to be restored. There's a Sylvester McCoy, King Arthur. Yeah, it's in a Sylvester McCoy. Doctor Who Battlefield. In the final season, it would seem intent on going out without a bang. The use of the explosives has become a joke now. But Battlefield show attempt at doing an epic with trans-dimensional medieval knights facing off against Unit. Battlefield certainly isn't, but the premise was the legend of King Arthur is from a parallel dimension. So there you go. Battlefield. It was the 7th. It had, yes, Battlefield. How would you react if a Doctor Who actress called you misogynist? Observer dude, 5 pounds. I would say she doesn't know me. So yeah, she'd be wrong. She'd be dead wrong. But I would just say thanks for watching. I would say thanks for watching. And yeah. How would I feel? How would that make me feel? That's to say I didn't answer the question, observer. How would that make me feel? I would actually probably feel pretty good because they've been watching my videos. I'd probably go, yeah. But no. I can bring Mrs. Nerdrotic on at any time, and she'll tell you different. There's a comic and a book with the Fifth Doctor with King Arthur. The Sixth Doctor came out and said he was Merlin. I remember that. Can we get a tip? Can we tip the mods, the wrenches? VXF Mystique, we can't yet. I am working on a system for that. It's got to be fair. But it's getting to the point where they've kind of earned it, right? That is something that really needs, I'm sure that's been brought up to YouTube, but I'd be more than happy to bring it up again. There's got to be a way to tip the mods. They are writing assuming the audience is like them. NPCs, so they don't have to reinforce their programming, explain the obvious. Dan M, you're right. It's the writers think that they're coming from the middle, that they're perfectly reasonable, and to be against us is obviously you're a horrible person. And it's like, yeah, not really. Not really. Okay. Oh my God, it's 3. I've been going for a long time. And we still have a lot of people watching, but we're down. So I'm going to get the Patreon video going, which again is old, and I'm going to just have to announce the rest. Okay. So Patreon is going through a little bit of trouble right now. Okay. So I don't do political stuff, so it doesn't really like affect me very much, but it's noticeable. People leaving. So if you want to leave, I no hard feelings at all, at all. And if you were paying for a long time, you're still going to get your package. That you're still entitled to that, and you don't feel the need to. You don't need to explain or anything. I totally respect your decision. It is your money, and yeah, here's the thing that I have a problem with. It's not as much as they kicked person off. People get kicked off all the time for saying stupid shit or stuff out of context or stuff that's off platform. I don't think that's right. But if you're consistent, but they're not. And they came out Patreon. The thing I have the problem with is Patreon came out, and Andrew Trekker mentioned this too, and basically said, no, we're not applying this to everybody. We're just going to kick out the people we don't like. That I have a problem with. That I have a serious problem with. Right now I'm staying on because we're new and we're starting out. I do have a website right now, and it just backs up everything. So if anything ever happens to the channel, nerdrotic.com will be there. That's where all the videos and audios go, and we're on iTunes too. But right now it's a wait and see. It's a wait and see. But I am like this year, you're going to be getting a lot of extra content. It's a great way. I'm going to be doing more hangouts where we can actually talk. I'm not super huge on the Discord thing, but I would revisit it. I just maybe need a little more practice at it, So I'm going to keep reading the chat here. This is just me running my Patreon video. Let's get up here. Natsu Drag Neo. What's up? 2 pounds. Who is worse? Jody as the Doctor or Mary Sue Ray? Jody. At least Ray. She's pretty bad, but Jody's worse. Because at least there's other elements in, I was going to say in The Force Awakens, like Han Solo was in it. He wasn't particularly good, but he was in it. I did not like The Force Awakens. I know a lot of people did, and that's fine. And compared to Last Jedi, it's a masterpiece. But I left Patreon. I used to pledge $200 a month. I give it to creators through other means. Damn. But down forward punch, I totally get why you did. Like, completely respect it and understand. If they pull shit like that again, I will fulfill my obligations and pull out. You always got to know when to pull out. When will you do a Young Justice review? Tomorrow, Jody. Saturday, 1/5 at about afternoonish. Next is the Orville. The next is the Orville. I don't. Should I just do it live, guys? Do you guys want me to just do it live? I mean, I've just done 3 hours live though, so that's the thing. Just wanted to support you here because I won't use Patreon. Had questions, but still get to you next time since it's winding down. Daniel, what's your question, man? Put it in. I will wait until you ask. For $20, I will wait, Daniel. You just put at Nerdrotic channel, and yeah, I'll answer the questions. I'll hang out. It's all good. A lot of people are backing their videos up to BitChute. DeForce 10. That's good. That's good. I've got my videos backed on everything on 2 separate drives, my computer, a cloud, and on my website. So we good. Thing is, it's getting quite a bit, and I'm gonna need to. I need to archive them better. I used to be an archivist as well. That's what I did. Some of the stuff I did at Technicolor, and actually, what Lucasfilm wanted to hire me was to be an audio archivist, because they were still archiving their stuff on a really ancient form of tape that I knew how to use, and yeah, but I turned them down because I didn't want to get paid $15 an hour. 50, which I mean might seem a lot to some people, and it really is in some parts, but here in San Francisco, $15 an hour is minimum wage. That's actually our minimum wage. It wasn't back then, but yeah, Jody was way worse. Ray's bad, don't get me wrong. Ray's bad. Captain Marvel is could be Doctor Who all over again, and it really could be the Doctor Who of the MCU, but I am waiting. I will do like I did for Doctor Who. I will wait until I see it. And once I see the actual product, now it's okay to speculate, and I do not judge other YouTubers for speculating. Rock on, because I agree. But I will wait. I will wait. And that was Daniel. I'm looking out for Daniel asking a question. Here we go. Doctor Who in the past was almost Lovecraftian horror. Do you think Series 11 could have worked if they went straight mystery genre with a female doctor who had to use her wits? Yes, Daniel. That is actually what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting action running around. I was expecting them using, that's what the doctor's known for. The doctor doesn't fight. The doctor sits there and talks to the devil, which is almost the worst thing you do. But the doctor is like the one thing in the universe that could talk to the devil and come out on top. That's the fucking doctor. So yes, you play to the female strengths, which is the mind, which is talking, which, cleverness, which is what the doctor is. But no, it's huggy wuggy, funsy onesie. Fun fact, TM, says Mr. Monkey. Thank you, Daniel. That's a great point. That's a great fucking point. Or I just had the fun fact. Oh, fun fact. Jody regenerates as the doctor, and the first button she randomly pushes blows up the TARDIS. Oh yeah, I mentioned that. The first move by the female doctor is crashing the TARDIS. Is my audio out of sync? Sorry about that. God dang it. I am calling the internet company today. It's because I've got too many windows up, but that shouldn't matter with what I'm paying for internet. This should never, ever happen. How's that audio now? Here. This can fix this. Hang on. Wait 30 seconds. Here we go. Oh, well, we got some more super chats, and then I'll come right back on. Daniel, thank you again for the $20. I just saw a super chat. How come it's not my window? That's weird. With a female doctor, she could have nagged the devil to death. That's terrible. There. That should fix that. using wits means writing talent. And that's part of the problem. That was really evident in the short trek. Is like, this is supposed to be a talented writer. Yeah, it's really hard to write clever stuff if you're not clever. The Doctor now being female does make the TARDIS a lesbian now. Yes, it kind of does, Brian. That's why I said that TARDIS needs to be male. Only 7 more to go to 275. Come on, people. Is that likes? 275 likes? Those Doctor Who Rotten Tomatoes, when they get down to 20, I'll do a third video. I just, I've already been accused of going to the well too much, but it's fun. It's fun. And obviously people like it. So I'm not going to stop. So probably Monday will be my next Doctor Who ratings video. I've got one coming out Saturday concerning a Chris Chibnall interview. That might, it might be getting kind of old. Listen, a bunch of stuff dropped on New Year's Day and I was super busy, so I couldn't do everything. So I really tried to mush in my last video. That was like 3 videos in one. So, yeah, I'm going to do, the next one is on a Chris Chibnall interview, and I'm sure you know which one. It was the one where he said politics are fundamental. Yeah, I've got a couple of thoughts on that. Most Time Lords probably do land, but the Doctor isn't most Time Lords. No. Kato Rowan, I don't know. I haven't checked. I should check before I go. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, there is. From Malwinius. Thank you, Malwinius, for the $10. We'll call it PayPal super chat in my PayPal. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Cheers, my friend. Awesome. And then we got another super chat, and it just says Malwinius here, just to tip to support you. Thank you so much. We've got. All right, cool. All right, we're going to share the super chats here real quick, and then I'm going to get to a couple more chats before we go. This is like the long goodbye. Hope you guys had a good time. Hope you enjoy these live streams. This was a bonus one. I love doing them. I love talking to you. We next week we resume. I do nooners at Patreon for as little as $1. I mean, it's $1 a month. I do 2 a week, Tuesday and Thursday. They're much smaller affairs. And sometimes they just turn into hangouts and we can talk. And I love talking to you guys. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I will be back shortly with a hasty Orville review, because I have that meeting to go, but I promise you, I think that's just going to be a video. But next week we will be live with the Orville with Susan. And we'll be live from here on out with it. And yeah, we're also going to be covering Young Justice. We got Counterpart coming out. I believe, what's the date? A week from this Sunday, we're going to, Doomcock and I are doing an Exozone. So that's coming up. If we do hit 25,000, I mean, that is like, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatched, but that's a big number. So we'll do a celebration. Like, it'll be just kind of like a really chill live stream. I'm showing the chat in the window right now. You can all see your chat, can't you? What I really meant to show was, I pulled the wrong thing up. Good thing I there we go. These are the super chats. So many today. You guys are awesome. Chris Persia, Tamarox, Kato Roan, Christian after he complimented me for getting his name right. Delorme. Okay, Delorme. Mary Ashmead, Silhouetted Animator, Peter Davidson, message retracted, Peter Davidson, Christian Delorme, the Cloud William, Mr. Twisted 72, David 22. We used to have a friend in elementary school who would go by Vid, so that's how I know it's David, because he would do the same thing. Flavis Alacanther. Thank you. And then retracted again. David 22, Silhouetted Animator, John Lane, Troy Tempest, Joel Tamburo. Oh shit. See, this is one of the ones I missed. I suck, Joel. Sorry. Did you watch Z Nation? It ripped off tropes and topics all across the spectrum. It did, and that's why I didn't like it. Joel, I owe you. I owe you a shout out next live stream. I'm sorry. Scaro Trek, Troy Tempest, Theocrat Poontang, Kevin Schoenfeld, Silhouetted Animator, oh boy, Natsu Dragneel, Daniel, Natsu with the hard question there, Down Forward Punch, Shini Giratina, did I get that right? Just 2 to 2 pounds says, hey, back at you. Shiny. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. Giratina. I get it right eventually. Brian Smart, prediction 100K subs by year's end. Brian Nostradamus Smart, well, you were way off, dude, because he predicted 30K last December. No, it was actually really close. So, and I said you were crazy, and I'll say you're crazy now. There's no way it gets that big. But I'm like, if it stopped today, I'm totally stoked. I'm happy. I am really, really happy. It's been a lot of fun. This is for a mission to Captain Marvel. Oh, Chris, what are you doing to me? Oh, man. This is for a mission to Captain Marvelous. You're going to suffer for us. And since I will not watch it, okay. All right. I will buy my ticket. I will buy the cheapest, earliest performance and go for the trailers. Do I think it's going to be a total? I think it's going to really kind of suck. I do. If I'm wrong, I'll freely admit it though. Like if I end up enjoying it, like, hey, it's not SJW whatever, and they don't really mention anything, and it was just in the marketing, and kind of almost how Black Panther turned out. Black Panther was marketed one way, and then the movie was just like, it was just a basic Marvel movie. Is it probably one of the more overrated movies in the history of time? Possibly. It's pretty good. It's a good Marvel movie. It's a good, fun Marvel movie. Will people be watching Black Panther in 30, 40 years and still talking about it? No. It's no Star Wars. It's no Guardians of the Galaxy. It's no Winter Soldier, but it's good. It's definitely good. It's in the upper tier of Marvel films. I'll give you that for sure. There you go. Shiny Giratina. You got it correct. Thank you for the 2 pounds. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Is Exozone going to be here? Yes. Exozone will be here. Just go see Shazam. I will. Is much more entertaining. Nerdrotic channel is much more entertaining than Dr. Thomas Williams. Thank you so much. Than Current Who. Ye have little faith on 100,000 subs, Burns. That's what my wife said. I'm trying to take it one day at a time. I don't want this shit going in my head. That's horrible. I'm not going to start like Baba merch. I mean, I'm going to have shirts and everything, but like, I'm going to try to make them cheap and like, you don't have to buy them. Yeah, but no. And I'm not going to sell you out for some gambling site. Did you see that? Ooh, that was bad. But it was like Jake Paul. I honestly, I've never watched a Jake Paul video and probably never will. So, but he's got like a gazillion subscribers. I did subscribe to PewDiePie though. When everybody was telling me to subscribe to PewDiePie, I subscribed to PewDiePie, and then I watched some of his videos. They're kind of funny. I have to admit, they're very funny. I was chuckling quite a bit. Jodie Whittaker is already in the running for a national television award for her performance as Doctor Who. What the fuck? Oh God, really? I mean, we should have seen this coming. I should not be surprised. But she's gonna she's gonna go down in history. It's like all praise Jodie because she played a fictional character with a vagina. That's so brave. So brave. She pretended with a vagina. Did you see her pretending with a vagina? It was so brave. I'm beklempt. Now I'm gonna go listen to some Barbara Streisand and shoot myself. Yeah. Oh God, it's the Irony Awards. Yes, Rebecca. You're great. That's funny. That's a great way to end it right there. Well, hey, at least I got another video to do, right? God. All right. On that note, everybody, I will see you in a little bit in my recorded Orville review. I want you all to have a great night. I am going to miss you this Friday. I cannot believe I'm missing a Friday Night Tights. I'm not going to put it out of the realm of possibility that I jump on for some stupid live stream tonight that probably won't stay up on the channel. It could happen. I'm just saying it could happen, but we'll definitely be back 5 p.m. tomorrow night. That's Saturday. That is, if you're watching this as a video, January 5th with Susan, and we will talk more about Jodie and her awards. And Rebecca, you take care. And Mary Ashmead, you take care. And Aberjam, you take care. And Flavius, you take care. And D-Force and Thomas, Amen. Dr. Beast Hunter. Ooh, man, that sounds serious. Sounds serious. Sid of the Id, Captain Robert April, get this man to 1,000 subs. Cardinal Doomsday, the Golden Turkeys, possibly. Jalapeno Chorizo, adios, amigo. Graham Strauss, Von Spam, Jody, Moons of Madness, Andrew Tickner. Oh, Titchner. Sorry, it says tit right in your name. I'm just kidding. I'm sure you never heard that. Afterlife, Porsche 962C. 962C, sorry. A man, Mr. Twisted 72. I like it. There's a man in here. When a man's in your chat. Perth Comics, Alex Brown, Shiny, Giratina. She says, no, I said she. God damn it. That was terrible. I just associated probably the wrong gender. I got to keep remember to say person. Oh, that's a bad. I can't say person anymore either. How about companion? I'll just call you all companions. Montana Horseman. I can't quit you, Montana Horseman. Brian Smart. Pen Farm Girl. The wonderful Pen Farm Girl. The Lethal Diva. Damn. Black Panther is just average, very overrated. Agreed. It's a 7 out of 10, 6.5, 7 out of 10 movie. Where the female characters were obviously more time was taken on them, and they were more interesting, to be honest with you. Austin Woods. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't miss any of those. That's all and everybody else who came in, thank you very much. Please go to nerdrotic.com for the live stream schedule. And I will stop this very long goodbye, and may the small folks say 6 songs of your greatness. Guys, see you later. Thanks.